Why don't we start off with you just telling us a little bit about the farm and how long you've been here and how long it's been in your family?
Well, it's been in the family from the Hepworth name since 1818, and they would consider me a seventh generation farmer. I grew up in like a diversified commercial apple farm, packer, and a wholesale retail operation on 9W, very successful roadside marketing. That's what I grew up in, and then I went to Cornell in '78 and really ventured deep into the transition out of that business because of reasons of the land did not warrant that kind of business in the future. I didn't see it as a viable option, so we went to another, for various reasons, so we went into a wholesale, organic, reaching out to the cooperatives from Florida to Maine to Madison, Wisconsin, distributing organic apples through the co-ops. So at Cornell, there was a bunch of us that went to school there at that time that were very interested in organic agriculture, sustainability, this very popular knowledge right now, but back then we really were in the place where we had a problem, we identified it, and it was this, there needed to be a change in the way we were dealing with the chemicals. We had some problems, and so the big mission statement was for everybody to come up with a way that we could grow food without that kind of chemistry. So it's going to take a lot of research and development to develop the different chemistry, which the chemistry before there were 5 classes of pesticides, and they were all more or less poisons. I mean, in the 80s, it was very much about trying to figure out how are we going to dechemicalize. So IPM, changing and getting rid of the old chemistry, discovering and finding new chemistry, the organic agriculture coming back where you have these alive systems and where you're paying attention to more or less promoting good soil health, and these concepts that are now, as we are in 2012, 13, moving into this next time, it is common knowledge, more of a spoken, as opposed to all farmers want to take care of their land, you know, and be good to it. And we took a turn, for a lot of reasons we took that turn, and the consumer's responsible for that too, with the perfect fruit and our society and having the great, bountiful, perfect fruits and vegetables that the world has ever seen. To get there, it wasn't a necessary evil, it was just when you're doing things, things happen and you don't always understand. So now we do understand that we need to change. In sustainability, we found out 10 years into it that we were just ecological for 10 years and we didn't care about the financing or the money. So then we proved that to be very unsuccessful. So there is an integrated approach. There's disease that happens during certain events, and so you have to take measures or you're not going to get a crop. And an integrated pest management system means that it's a system in which you can measure and evaluate what's going on in your fields and orchards to be able to make a good decision about how you're going to manage it. For instance, if you have aphids, an IPM person, they go out and they scout and you have aphids. It's up to the grower to decide how they're going to control with aphids. There's a definite scientific basis for the fact that you don't want more than 5 aphids per leaf on a certain crop, or whatever their thresholds are. That's when you're going to see, okay, this is an economical situation. You don't take cover now with some pests, you're going to have 10% damage, or, you know, so there's many ways in which you could dechemicalize, and there's many choices that you can make and how far you want to take it. Now, luckily, 30 years later, we have 30 some more classes of chemistry. The chemistry is much different, and
much more particular.
Yeah. So now we've come to, IPM is just a system that's there to help growers make sound decisions, and mostly pest management, but it's bigger than that in its integration. Anybody can use IPM.
Okay.
And an organic grower is going to use IPM, and organic standards are defined by a certain protocol. So the guy doing IPM who's organic in apple production is going to have to use sulfur to control apple scab. And the other guy gets to pick from a lot of material.
Okay.
And new material.
Sure.
So it's a possibility that now, where we've arrived, we've done such a good job at figuring out how to dechemicalize that we've come to a place that we all can, we've learned from, meaning the conventional people have learned that, wow, the organic part of cover cropping and taking care of soil actually net pays them too, in the sense that a biologically active soil and farm seems to be, throughout the research, indicative of a benefit, net gain. So conventional wisdom has moved very far in the understanding of organic. We've put organic against conventional. Let's just integrate the whole thing.
Sure.
Let's integrate and live in that world that's real. Because I just see thousands of acres in my eye right now of incredible growers, of which some are in your supermarkets, some are in the farmers markets, some are being exported, and they're all incredibly wholesome things to eat. Eat fruits and vegetables, and it's good for you.
You're talking about kind of alleviating some of this cloud of misinformation and fear that's surrounded around something that people should be embracing more wholeheartedly, which is trying to eat more fruits and vegetables all the time.
And support our farms by eating them.
Exactly.
And acknowledging the hard work. And I'm not putting my head in the stand. This is my job. We do have work to do. We have to keep these research stations open. We have to continue to do a better job. I mean, there's going to be problems. We can't be complacent that, oh, the farmers are out there. It's hard out there. And
you have people like the Hudson Valley Lab who are doing their utmost effort to maintain food standards.
And they're in serious trouble because they're you know, we're threatened with half a budget the following year, and and the shutting of that lab would be something. If I was a consumer, I would worry about something like that. We have to keep research and development alive. And with the restructuring of how we deal with our budgets and the financial problems of our society, agriculture still needs to be something that's supported. I don't know how we're going to do it, but that's a big concern for the consumer, to make sure that we can continue to do a good job. And
making a stronger connection between the consumer and their farmer as we grow more acquainted with your practices and what you've gone through.
That's a privilege. That's awesome. That's great. There's also another side to that. That's the farmer catering to that person that needs that. There are millions of other people that actually need to get fed, that just really would rather not have to deal with anything. And farmers that need to service those people that don't want to deal with people like me coming around. Look at that. And it's great. And it is. There's a part of that that's the people part, and I would not have been able to do what I didn't do if I did not have foodies. They made me work so hard to do my job. Like, they were so into it, and I felt like I was really important.
But you are.
Well, I did. They made me feel like my job was very important. My job was very important to dechemicalize the industry. That was a very important job. And also, my job was very important in trying to understand how we're going to feed everybody. Now there's the next revolution, and everybody needs to get into our next vision so that we can do our job and do it well, and don't make us regret going further down a road that we know is not the best one. And you can't speak of organic and have it feel negative, because it's not negative. It's what more it can be. Sometimes they think that I'm ditching organic. I love organic, but I kind of like if I wasn't organic and I could do something that was better than organic. Like, to me, that's like a turn on. Wow. I want to be excited about good things and new things. I don't want to be stuck in saying some regulatory things that I needed organic cover crop seeds, and I have to go out to order them from Wisconsin at $60 a bushel, when my neighbor, who's been growing rye for me for $7 and $11 a bushel, don't spray it. It's a perfectly healthy product, the one that I want to buy, right next door for $7, and I have to buy it for $60 out in Wisconsin because it's certified. That's wrong. So I don't like doing things that are wrong. I want to do the best job I can, and right now I'm a little frustrated because the consumer is driving the organic labels so hard. So the consumer could, if very, very concerned about which farm they can rely on certain markets. CSA models are very good for those people. Farm stands and knowing those farmers, those are good sources. Oh, that's what you do. You associate with a market that is conscientious about the food, because actually that link works. Park Slope Food Coop, the buyers there are incredible. Alan Zimmerman buys produce for the 16,000 people there.
Sure.
Yeah. They 1 week their record, they broke $1 million sale.
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot for a week for a store. And we've been with them since in 1980. So we've been there for over 30 years. Right? So we were there with 260 members. Now there's 16,000. We're a farmer that grew with them and changed our farm model because of them. And so those people who shop there, you cannot believe what they do to connect to farmers like us. I mean, unbelievable feats. And then Whole Foods, like a place like Whole Foods, their buyers are outrageous. They have a different model. They want to support farms regionally. They're really active in going to the farm and seeing their practices. I mean, they're so strict. Like, you know, the temperature, the washing, you know, they're really a good market, and they will not buy from you if they go to the farm and they don't like what they see, or they're working. I mean, they do their homework. So to me, the consumer won that battle. What is the next battle? To continue for the farmers to be able to do a good job. They need research and development, and we need to support New York State so we can healthily develop our agricultural lands. We do need support. We need technical, scientific support to continue. What happens? We're getting decreased funding. The whole thing is changing. It's going to not be necessarily from Cornell that's going to pay for everything. Maybe it's going to be another foundation that wants to help maintain agriculture. You don't know where the money's going to. It's going to have to come from something else. It's going to come more from the growers. We need that lab. You know, and I think that right now the agricultural community does need support, you know, in making sure that research and development continues. And we have to be very mindful to do it with the inherent intellectual community on agriculture, with their mission statement aligned with the consumer, to rest assured everything is being done possible.
Sure.
To have safe, healthy food that's not dangerous in any way. By the way, it's not just a trend, it's a mega trend that we're going to all be greener and sustainable and conscious. I mean, it's just not something that's going to go away. Organic's going to change, but the overall concept of it is here to stay for as far as I can see. And what is the new revolution is the fact that our agriculture has embraced a depth of what the organic movement is been transformed into our consumers' consciousness of good farming practices. So what I'm trying to say is it's probably easier to get organic funding right now, even politically. People want it. They think it's better.
Sure.
So I would like to just get past that and continue the funding to do what everybody wants us to do without getting caught up in a term that we can't infuse into what's going on and then move forward.
Sure.